I hope she'll get to love this place and fall in love with it, and maybe with me too, you never know.
Hold up, wait. So it's this guy's very first date with Chantel and he's already talking about love? She's only just got divorced. She barely knows this guy. This seems like a big red flag, right? Well, no, wrong, because Chantel is already talking about the next step, moving him to the States.
It's very nice, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, really.
It's very pretty. Would you live in a place like the United States?
I never say never.
Wow, Chantel, have you not learned anything from the Pedro experience? Now, before we dive into Chantel's hastiness, let's just rewind a bit. So, over the last few episodes, we've watched Chantel and her friends try and get Chantel back on the dating wagon. She's tried her best to meet some Greek men, and when we join her on this episode, she's travelling across the Greek island that she's on to go on a date with a footballer, a soccer player that she's just met at a club. She's clearly hoping Giannis is worth the trek. But if the silence tells us anything, it's that things are pretty awkward to begin with.
Wait,
So,
Yeah.
Thankfully, one of them says something, eventually. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd be expecting a professional soccer player to be smooth with the ladies. You'd think they might have good banter, good date night chat. But what Giannis says next indicates that he's not only a bit of an amateur, but it's almost like he's never had a conversation with a woman ever before.
what's your favorite sport?
Football Americana?
Soccer, you mean?
No,
American football.
He may as well have asked her what her favourite colour is. I mean, Chantel claims that she's looking for love. She's in Greece to find a real raw connection with someone. But so far, the date with Giannis has no connection. There's no common ground here. The conversation stinks. But for whatever reason, Chantel seems to have her blinkers on. She's in her own little world. She's looking at everything with rose-tinted glasses. Because, to put it simply, she seems to think that she's met some kind of Greek god.
Giannis is definitely a god of a man, and I haven't felt like this in a very long time.
Right, so what I think Chantel really means here is she hasn't felt this horny in a very long time. She's made it abundantly clear that she's very attracted to Giannis, but the conversation isn't exactly flowing between them. It's hard to see even a glimpse of a spark between these two. And if Chantel is serious about finding love on this Greek island, she might be looking in the wrong place and asking the wrong questions.
So, Greek, when I think of Greek, I don't know why I think of Rome, too.
Greece was part of the Roman Empire, I think.
What about the Spartans?
This is the kind of conversation you might have with your cab driver. It's weird, right? These two went from talking about Chantel's divorce the night they met to now barely being able to talk about anything. The depth of their conversation has gone from 0 to 100 and then back to 0 again. But despite how things might appear, believe it or not, Giannis now starts talking about love.
I hope she'll get to love this place and fall in love with it, and maybe with me too, you never know.
Giannis, come on, mate. Talking about love already, after the way that the date is going so far, seems like maybe you're trying a bit too hard to land yourself a role in a reality TV show. But wherever the truth lies, when the pair go for a romantic walk later on that evening, Giannis continues his charm offensive.
You like it?
I do. I like it a lot.
Would you live in a place like that?
That's a very suggestive line of questioning for the very first date, Giannis. I don't blame Chantel for her hesitation in response to that. But, honestly, this is what she signed up for. She keeps insisting that she's not just looking for a fling with someone, She says she's come on this show, in her own words, to find love. So it's pretty ironic that she says she's never considered moving abroad for love when she's filming a show all about finding love abroad. Yeah, make it make sense.
I have not given much thought to living abroad. The food's great. It's a nice place to vacation, but I can't get too carried away.
That seems like a fairly outrageous statement from Chantel, given that she's the one that signed up for this show. She chose to go to Greece with the purpose of finding her soulmates. So I can't be the only one that feels like something doesn't quite add up here. But for as much as Chantel says that she wants to stay firmly in reality, she's also acting like she's in some kind of dramatic Hollywood-style love story. And she's really leaning into this idea of playing the leading lady.
It's very nice, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, really.
It's very pretty. Would you live in a place like the United States?
I never say never.
What is with these two? The way they're talking, the way they're acting, it's like they think they're in their own little rom-com. It's so cheesy, it's so cringy. And to be brutally honest, it seems way too intense to be true. Like, time and time again, Chantel contradicts herself. She says she wants to be realistic, and then she asks Giannis if he'd move to the States. She says she doesn't want a fling, yet then asks him to take her home on their first night.
Giannis just swept me right off my feet. But I need to be careful because I've only just met him. You want to take me home?
Yeah, of course.
She says there's a huge attraction between them. She keeps referencing this amazingly deep connection they have. Now, forgive me for not being able to see it, but from the way that Chantel's talking, it's sounding like she's ready to jump headfirst into marriage again. I don't know, there's just something about this that the more they insist they have this deep connection, the less I'm buying it. Something about this seems very, very fake.
When I met Pedro, I had butterflies. There was definitely a physical attraction, but this is so different because I have an actual connection with Giannis.
Even a few more minutes with her is nice to spend. So I felt very nice.
Sure, his mouth might be saying those words, but his body language as they drive to Chantel's hotel room is saying something completely different. I mean, they're talking like a loved-up couple in the honeymoon phase of their relationship, but they're doing so with all the love and affection of a limp handshake. They have zero chemistry. There's zero conversation. It's hard to watch. Who are they trying to fool here?
So, what else?
To be honest, every minute I spend with you is nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is Chantel really asking what else? As in, what else is there to talk about after a whole one night together? How can they be enjoying this? This entire exchange is excruciating. It's so robotic. And it's no wonder that after this strange little car ride home, they've decided to go their separate ways. I'm pretty sure any possibility of getting down and dirty tonight was ruined by the sheer awkwardness.
I really loved my date tonight with Giannis. However, I'm not going to invite him up to my room.
Yeah, that's probably for the best, Chantel. Let's face it, going from divorce to first date in which you discuss immediately moving across the world to be with each other isn't exactly normal behaviour. You've definitely done the right thing pumping the brakes a little here. It's clear for everyone to see that Chantel is getting way ahead of herself. Instead of jumping into a serious relationship, instead of even talking about that, Chantel really seems like she needs some alone time. I think that would do her the world of good. Like, be single for a while, Chantel. Have some fun. Let your hair down. But don't start trying to convince yourself you have a deep connection with the first guy you meet. Don't even joke about moving country or bringing him to the States.
I know how things can get carried away when you're in the heat of the moment, and I don't want to be a hookup.
Yes, true, that's absolutely correct, Chantel. But there's also a huge gap between hooking up with someone and marrying them. And it's starting to seem like she may not actually realise that. Only, given all the heartache that Pedro caused her, I really hope she's learnt enough from that experience to steer well clear of diving into anything too quickly.